Hi everyone! So in this video I'm going to be talking about why you should become an au pair. So lots of people ask me why should they become an au pair? You know, I'm saying all these great things about being an au pair and how amazingly wonderful it is and how the experiences that I have just changed me. And they're like, well, why should I become an au pair? You know, what's so great about it? Can you convince me to become an au pair? First off, if I have to convince you, I mean, it's so amazing. I shouldn't need to convince you. You know, you should just know. You should just, by reading my blogs or by watching these videos, you should just know and see how happy I am and how happy I am with my life. The fact I'm extending for a second year here, I mean, if I hated it that much, I wouldn't be extending. So people who are on the fence and don't know whether or not they should or they shouldn't, you know, they have all these great advantages, but there's also the disadvantages of which I will talk about. So first off, let's start with the disadvantages. These have to be clear as day, really. Moving away from home. So you're moving away from your family, the people you love, the people you care for, your friends, you know, the people that you have been with all this time of your life. It's hard, and you know, if they're not supportive in you moving or making this decision to go to a new country and maybe learn a new language, then who cares? Who cares if they don't, if they think it's a silly idea? I know plenty of people who used to say to me that, oh, that's, you know, you'll never do that. That's a really silly idea to move to it. Why would you want to move to America, you know? And now I get messages saying, oh wow, I'm so jealous of you, and I always knew you could do it. And I'm like, no, you didn't think I could do it. Sometimes you just have to ignore what people think about your ideas, because if you believe that it's a silly idea, you're just going to regret it later in life. You'll say to your children when you're older, you'll be like, oh, I had this opportunity to move to America or move to a different country to become an au pair, but I was too scared and nobody really thought the idea was a good idea. Your kids are going to be like, what? That's silly, why don't you just go anyway? Who cares what people think? And you hear it so much, saying, well, who cares what people think? Well, sometimes it's important what people think, especially your family. So if your family are not supportive in you moving, it's going to make it a lot trickier for you. If you have a supportive family, perfect. It'll make it a lot easier. But even if you don't, it's your decision at the end of the day. It's your life. You know, if you're 18 above, you know, make the decision you want to make. Obviously, you have to, you know, be respectful of your significance and respectful of the people you care for. But if you think that later in life you're really going to regret following what people have told you to do instead of doing this, moving away, you know, you're going to regret never doing it. I know plenty of people who regret not travelling somewhere when they could have, or not living somewhere when they could have. You know, they have this opportunity to do it and they didn't, and now they're like, oh, I wish I did. Imagine what life would be like if they did it. So that's something that I was like, well, imagine if I didn't do this and I had the opportunity to move to America and I didn't. That's why I did it. I don't want to see myself in 10 years' time thinking, oh, I wonder how my life would be if I was an au pair. I was like, well, I want to know what my life's going to be if I'm an au pair. I want to go and I want to do that. I want to, you know, tell the stories. Why would I want to go to university like everyone else does? I mean, I can always go to university afterwards. Like, why not take a gap year? Yeah, I'm taking a year out of education, even if I don't have to go back for education. But if I was going to, it's a year. A year means nothing. You're just a year behind everyone else. But you have all of this experience. You're living away for a year, if not 2 years. It's crazy to even think that people wouldn't want to do this. For people who are very educationally focused, then of course that makes sense, but being an au pair is amazing. So why you should become an au pair? You get to learn a new culture. I always thought that America and the UK was the same. I was like, well, I'm not going to have culture shock or anything. I'm not going to learn anything about culture. I just want to live in this country. I didn't think that we were different. but the things I have learned and the words that I've learned from Americans and the accent as I watch my videos back, it's quite shocking. So there are the numerous American words that the way they pronounce them is just funny, and I never thought that it would that would happen. Like, there's so many differences about the UK and America. America's humongous. It's a huge country, and being able to try and explore the whole of that, it's amazing. But the UK is very small in comparison. So yeah, there's a lot of differences. Yeah, I used to walk into stores and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, you're from the UK." I'm like, "Yeah." Like, "What part of England are you from?" Like, "Actually from Wales." They're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm like quarter Welsh." Like, how do you? Everyone I meet is apparently either a quarter Welsh or a half Welsh or a little bit Welsh. Yeah. Oh, my great grandpa's Welsh. I was like, apparently everyone I meet's from Wales. I'm like, well, I'm kind of 100%. Well, I guess 50%. But and it's unbelievable sometimes the things people say to try and start a conversation. But it's sweet, you know. And a lot of people come from Wales, apparently. But hey, I was like, hey, I live there. You were born and raised here. But they're like, oh yeah, it's a lovely country. I'm like, yeah, have you seen it? No. But why you should become an au pair? You get to, as I was saying, talk about your country. I never really appreciated where I lived. Like, every American seems to love the UK, and I have no idea why. But they're like, oh my gosh, I'd love to go to the UK, I'd love to visit London and walk around London. And I'm like, And now I start to appreciate my country more. Not that I didn't appreciate it before, but before I was like, oh, I can't wait to leave. I just want to get out and I just want to live in America, because America was all that I could, all I ever wanted to live in was America. I was like, America focused. Like, I want to live in America. So this is why I chose to be an au pair in America. And as every day goes on, I'm like, oh, yeah, I love my country, you know. When people say, oh, you're so lucky to live there, and I'm like, yeah, I am, actually. You know, I'm proud of the accent that I had. Apparently it's changed, but I am proud of where I come from. I mean, you get to show off your country. You get to, if you come from a different country, especially that is not an English-speaking country, you get to show off the fact that you know 2 languages. You know, that's a big deal here. You know, like, go speak a little bit of French or a little bit of German or a little bit of Swedish. You know, and it's a big thing to be proud of. Coming from another country, living in America, I mean, that in itself is amazing. If you can't see that that's amazing, then my goodness. So being an au pair is definitely have its benefits, and at the end of the day, you're only out here for 1 year. That's 1 year of your life. Yes, you'll never get the year back, but you won't want to. I mean, you'll want to relive this year as much as you can. And when the year comes to an end, I know mine hasn't come to an end, but realization sometimes kicks in that, oh, one day I'm going to be going back to Wales. It's hard. It's quite upsetting, really. I just can't imagine myself leaving. I mean, this is my life. This is all I've ever imagined, you know, happening. I've planned for so long to be an au pair. I mean, I was 16 when the idea arose. I'm now 18. When I go home, I'll be 20. That's 4 years of my life that I have wanted to be an au pair. And when it's all over, what am I going to do? It's mind-boggling sometimes, but you learn how to, you find different things to do. After being an au pair, you're more desirable for job openings because you have lived abroad for a whole year or 2 years. You have many experiences to share, and it shows that you're independent. You move from your home country. It's hard for a lot of people I know who are very family focused. But again, there's Skype, there's WhatsApp where you can message, you know, text people for free over Wi-Fi, whatever, not that I'm promoting it. But it's an amazing, there are so many ways over the internet to do social networking. It's like you're with your family anyway. I mean, I Skype sometimes once, twice a week. Not twice a week. Once or once per 2 weeks. But you know, I haven't felt homesick yet. I can see why it would be hard for people who didn't have Skype, but it's an amazing thing. And if you can't see how amazing that my life is right now and how amazing your life could be, you really have to be here to experience it. And the feeling of actually arriving in America, you know, you get off that plane, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in the United States. The first person you hear with an American accent is like, oh my gosh, she's from America. And to be honest, the American accent now is normal. I mean, now I've moved down to the south, it's a lot different than it was back up in the Pacific Northwest, but I just remember the feeling of being like to my friends, like, oh my gosh, American accent. You know, as childish as it sounded, but we weren't used to it yet. So I can't recommend enough becoming an au pair, especially in America. It relates to anywhere in the whole world where you can be an au pair, either it being the UK where I'm from. It's a great place to live, you know. France, Germany, Switzerland, Italy, I don't know, you can be an au pair anywhere, I think. I couldn't highly recommend it anymore. I mean, my life has changed. I can't even think how much my life has changed. It's crazy, the fact that I've lived out here 9 months now. So, if you still don't want to become an au pair after this video, then it's just crazy. Because being an au pair is the most amazing thing that will probably ever happen in your young life, and there's so much more to experience in years to come. So I hope this video made you change your mind, but if it didn't, then hopefully my other videos will help you change your mind or ease you into becoming or choosing the decision to be an au pair. Thank you all for watching. I hope it's helped in some way or another, but again, be an au pair. Tell the world your story. Tell the world your country's story. Be proud of who you are. Thank you for watching.